A big round of applause to our panelists. I quite like standing behind this podium, but maybe I won't hide my beautiful dress. I'll stand in front of it. I just noted that a number of us joined while the panel sessions had already begun. So please allow me just to take 2 minutes to give a very, very brief summary of some of the conversations that were happening today. And Tawanda Mtasa spoke about politics mattering. And he says that the decisions we are making about our resources also matter. Nekesa spoke about the need for transgenerationalism and the urgency to act not on behalf of young people, but in partnership with young people. And she said we need to do this when? Now, now. Can I hear you say now, now? How do you say now, now in French? Johnny, 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 Johnny. We need to act now, now. Thank you, Nekesa, for that. We also heard from Briggs that we need to understand the times and we need to understand the urgency. So for those that missed the discussions, that was a bit of a highlight. And also, I welcome you to, while we then go out and have the cocktail part of this celebration, that you continue in conversation. If you've got questions, approach someone. Let's discuss this and let's take it further. Let's not leave it on this stage and not actually live out the principles that we've been discussing this evening. At this point, I would like to welcome Madam Kumba as we are celebrating invisible giants. And I'd like to also offer that not invisible in the sense that we don't see them, but invisible in the sense that they are carrying on with the work, whether someone is seeing or not, whether they're being recognized or not. And we would like to take the opportunity to recognize, appreciate, and celebrate all of the efforts and all of the service that they have committed their lives to the transformation of various spaces in Africa. So at this point, Madame Kumba.
Merci, merci Mika. Merci beaucoup. Oui, c'est vrai, les géantes invisibles, c'est la célébration, n'est-ce pas, Aïta? Et peut-être tu peux nous amener en Afrique du Sud, parce qu'on va démarrer avec Sibongile Mkhabela. Mais avant que Aïta nous amène, les géantes invisibles, j'aimerais dire, c'est bientôt 12 ans de célébration. Nous avons plusieurs d'entre elles qui sont là. Je vois juste en face de moi Jorfal. Il y en a plusieurs dans la salle. Ça fait bientôt 12 ans que nous recherchons et que nous célébrons des femmes africaines sur le continent et dans la diaspora. On dit qu'ils font de belles choses, mais c'est au-delà des belles choses et c'est au-delà de la célébration de ces femmes en tant qu'individus. Quand nous les célébrons, ce que nous célébrons vraiment, c'est leur action. Ce que nous célébrons vraiment, c'est toutes les personnes autour d'elles qui sont aussi invisibles, parce que chacune d'entre elles représente des milliers d'autres femmes qu'on ne voit pas. On ne sait pas ce que ces femmes font, et pourtant, c'est elles qui font tourner le monde. Donc, j'aimerais inviter Sibongile Mkhabela à venir s'installer. J'aimerais inviter Marema Touré, professeur, à aussi venir s'installer. J'aimerais inviter Fatoumata Anne à venir s'installer. Inviter Fatima Mbaye à venir s'installer. S'il vous plaît. Please. J'aimerais inviter Aïcha Ba Diallo à venir s'installer. Est-ce qu'on peut applaudir d'abord très fort avant qu'elle ne s'asseye? Où tu veux? Est-ce qu'on peut applaudir? Ce sont des géantes. Ce sont des géantes. Bravo. Installez-vous, s'il vous plaît. Merci, ça c'est Aïta Senghor qui nous accompagne toujours dans la célébration des géantes invisibles. Nous allons commencer avec Sibongile Mkhabela. Et je vais d'abord demander à Mika de nous lire sa biographie, parce que c'est d'abord ça. On commence avec ça. Mika, please.
Thank you, Aita. Thank you, Kumba. For my West African compatriots that might not know that song, that's a song of celebration, and I'm not sure if Kumba mentioned it, but a song to celebrate Miss Sibongile as she is being honored as an invisible giant, and I will read her bio. Before I read, I would like to just invite you all to kindly raise your right hand, yeah? And put it on your heart like this, yeah? Okay, so while I read her bio, if you hear anything that deeply resonates or deeply touches you, I invite you to raise your hand and touch your heart. Okay. I'll be looking out to see if there's anyone who's listening and following instructions. Miss Sibongile Mkhabela, a social worker by profession and passionate social activist, the Chief Executive Director of a newly formed independent Barlow World Empowerment Foundation, whose mission is to ignite self-belief and unleash resilient communities in Africa. The foundation focuses on developing women and youth by empowering them in the fields of entrepreneurship, education in all its forms, not only academic, and protection of the environment and social development. Storytelling is one of the anchors of the foundation and a vehicle for shifting of power and the dynamics to enable communities that it serves to lead the process of change and take ownership of the outcomes. Ms. Mkhabela is notably the former Chief Executive Officer of the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund, as well as the Nelson Mandela Children's Hospital. Her first steps as an activist were intuitive rather than political, and I believe a lot of us in the room can resonate with finding themselves in these spaces rather than actually planning to be part of these spaces. But as a child, she recognized and questioned common indignities that shaped Black lives. The young Bongi joined the students' resistance as a leader in the Soweto Students' Representative Council, SSRC, and the South Africa Student Movement's General Secretary. She was part of the driving force behind the nationwide June 16, 1976 student revolt, which was a turning point in South Africa's anti-apartheid struggle. Bongi charged with 10 other young students for sedition in what became known as the Soweto 11 trial, was the only female student that was charged, and then she was nicknamed the Rose amongst the Thorns. She was imprisoned and finally released in 1982. And the time that she spent in the women's prison only resolved her commitment to fighting for dignity of Black lives and strengthening the position of African women. After her release, Bongi was served with several banning orders, limiting who she could be in contact with and restricting her movements to Zola Township. She made her hometown the epicenter of her activism. And under the auspices of the South African Council of Churches, Bongi was trained by the Legal Resource Center as a paralegal and then founded the Zola Advice Office, which offered practical, social, and legal advice and assistance to people living under this oppressive rule. In 2018, she was awarded the Order of Luthuli Silver by the President of South Africa, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, in recognition of her fight against apartheid, her continued work in social justice, and for her excellent contribution to the well-being of South Africa's children. She was also awarded an honorary doctorate in philosophy by the Nelson Mandela University. In her tenure as the CEO of the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund, which was founded by Tata, Bongi molded an African organization for social justice, and this was a critical player in issues affecting children, their families, and communities. Embracing Nelson Mandela's mission to change how society treats the African child, in the last decade, Sibongile Mkhabela has been on a journey to ensure that the country's children have access to world-class tertiary healthcare and institutions that are devoted to their care. She led the Nelson Mandela's Children's Hospital Trust 1 billion rand capital campaign behind the Nelson Mandela's Children's Hospital, only the second of its kind in Southern Africa. And the Children's Hospital now provides state-of-the-art tertiary pediatric care and aims to improve the quality of pediatric research and training in sub-Saharan Africa. It is in this context that she built a relationship with the French government and its people, who then became one of the lead donors and partners during the research phase of the Nelson Mandela Children's Hospital. Bongi presents a unique development perspective that incorporates grassroots action, working with the advice officers and other grassroots initiatives, as well as working with organizations and organizations with a national and global agenda. Part of that experience saw her serving in senior positions at the UNDP and also serving the first democratically elected government of South Africa as the director responsible for programming in the Office of the President, with special reference to civil society and government partnerships, as well as overseeing the implementation of the UN Children's Charter. She's a graduate of the University of Zululand and also a Joel L. Fleischman Civil Society Policy Fellow at the Duke University in North Carolina. She completed her postgraduate I mean, wow, I'm so inspired. And I'm going to keep reading. My question is, how did you do it all? But we'll have a chat during tea. I'll keep reading. She also completed, if someone can help me with the feedback. Please excuse us, technology does weird things when you least expect it. But Bongi also completed her postgraduate business management studies with the University of Wits Business School in Johannesburg in 2017. And she was also awarded a Rockefeller Foundation Fellowship in Italy, which was a residency that was a space for her to reflect and write about her experiences and the future of the social justice movements. Bongi serves on various boards, and if you have a copy of this written biography, please make note that I am taking the liberty to insert serving on the board of Trust Africa, which wasn't on this list, but also a USA-based Global Philanthropy Alliance, and she is the former chairperson and trustee of Black Sash. She continues to serve on the board of the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund and the Nelson Mandela Children's Hospital. Her novel, Open Earth and Black Roses, recounts the ordinary and extraordinary lives of Black families in apartheid South Africa. She also tells of her personal experiences as a young woman imprisoned, restless, and resisting social justice. I'm going to repeat that last line. If anything that we're going to take away from this bio is that she also tells her personal stories from her experience as a young woman imprisoned, restless, and resisting social justice. Ladies and gentlemen, Sibongile Mkhabela.
Sibongile Mkhabela. Merci, merci beaucoup. Wolof Ndiaye nee na weddi gis bokku ci. J'ai été dans cet hôpital. Et qu'une personne ait levé plus de 100 millions de dollars pour la santé des enfants africains. Mais non seulement lever cela, mais créer un modèle qui s'autofinance et qui marche. Mais au-delà de ça, quand on entre dans cet hôpital, on se rend compte que c'est possible d'avoir un autre type d'hôpital pour les enfants. Je n'avais jamais imaginé quelque chose comme ça. C'est-à-dire, tout l'hôpital est fait, le design est fait spécifiquement en pensant aux enfants. Les lits, les robinets, tout. Quand tu vas là-bas, c'est fait pour les enfants. Et tout y est. C'est extraordinaire. Moi, je pense que c'est un modèle pour l'Afrique. C'est quelque chose que nous devons voir. Et ce n'est pas seulement pour l'Afrique du Sud, c'est un hôpital qui reçoit des enfants de partout dans la zone sud-africaine, qui viennent avec les maladies les plus rares et qui sont soignés. C'est extraordinaire. Merci. Merci Bongi. Et ça a été dit encore ce matin. On parle de Soweto, elle était parmi les 11 qui ont été arrêtés. C'était les leaders des enfants de Soweto. Parmi les 11 qui ont été arrêtés et parmi les 5 qui ont été en prison, c'était la seule fille. Et ce qu'elle vient de dire, je pense que les autres membres de notre board, Asefa est là, Tawanda est là. Les gens peuvent témoigner. You can be witness for us about what she said, gentle giant. All of us at Trust Africa can really be a witness. L'humilité est extraordinaire quand tu es assise avec elle. Tu te dis, c'est pas possible. Quand on lui a dit qu'on allait la célébrer, elle m'a dit non, mais pourquoi? personne ne m'a jamais célébré, c'est pas moi. Il y a d'autres femmes. Elle a commencé à me citer une liste de centaines de femmes. J'ai dit, bon, comme nous, on ne les connaît pas, on les célèbre à travers toi. Aïta.
Si elle est maman, elle est yo. Si elle est maman, elle est yo. Si elle est maman, si elle est la chichaba, di homo di felile, ba fedile di papa, ba soare ci di pasa. Mela si baseri, basele di Johane. Basimani basitana bachabile soweto basiali basa baseti bali bangwe tangle bone matata Afrika helele yo si helele mama helele yo si helele mama. Hebdo timeweko Hamadu tapelile Asiwasilo kompuyele makaya Abatanya baya kala ubisilu pelile Aputo tipezi pipizi ya mataza Yubudungu batoto leneba Yase Afrika.
Sibongile, please, you can come and get your trophy. Pour les photographes, c'est mieux ici ou bien en haut? On est bien ici? Il faut donner la... We'll give you the floor for a minute.
This goes with my dress. Anyway.
So pretty.
So pretty.
You can have the floor.
I can't say no to Kumba. Even though she promised there'll be no speeches. Even though she promised, I just have to look pretty and do nothing else. I thank you. I thank you from the depths of my heart. I wish you had sang that freshly ground song, Nomvula, because it makes me think of my father who brought us up. And I like it when it says, the girl you see in front of you was brought up by a man. When my mother died, we were young. And it was 6 of us. And my father brought us up. So every time it comes out, I'm like, even now, as you acknowledge me, I'm thinking, where's the old man? I thank you so much for making my father's efforts worth it. Wherever he lies today, you make him say, it's okay. I am very touched, I'm very moved. Thank you.